move on because The Shape of Water is Guillermo del Toro's. You gotta say Guillermo.
I like his movie, but like I think I've always said he's more overrated than I mean,
I thought you were a fan.
I am a fan, but like people like go crazy for stuff, and like I like a lot of his work.
We've learned so much about Black Adam Willis in the last like 30 seconds.
I like his work, but everyone's so like head over heels gaga. I feel like hyping it up, and sometimes it's just like,
I think that's Hollywood,
okay.
Man. Like
I agree. I think it's that too. But like I liked Pacific Rim, but Pacific Rim.
Oh, Pacific
Pan's
Rim.
Labyrinth's fine.
No,
you know what I mean?
Pacific Rim knew what it was, and that's where I got my enjoyment.
Right, but like, how does he get this?
Robots, you're not looking for Shakespeare in the story.
Yeah,
you just want giant robots.
I don't know. He just
and kaiju.
And kaiju. Well, I mean, that's cool. That's kind of a given.
He just has this clout around him that I feel
can fight each other.
No, you have that's real steel. We don't talk about that. But no, I see what you're saying, man. And the thing is, people do have a tendency to like look at things with rose-tinted glasses and forget the weird parts of movies that may not have like taken off.
Or some of his films I just don't respond to. You know what I mean? And some like I think he's really, really good at having original ideas, and like the costume and the design of his movies are really, really.
Yeah, the visual
interesting,
design.
The visual stuff. But like, I wasn't a big Hellboy fan. I wasn't a big Hellboy 2 fan. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
Oh, you're talking about the movies.
But Hellboy 2 is him. Hellboy 1 was someone else.
Okay.
No,
Hellboy 2 was.
It wasn't.
No, you're talking about Blade.
Blade
2 was him. Blade 1 wasn't.
Okay.
Hellboy was all him. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Did he do Blade 3? Blade Trinity?
No.
Okay. Whew. All right,
one thing
I can ask the hard questions.
We've talked about it here, and I will say this: I one of the biggest what could have been projects that I think is still out there that may never come to fruition is
Guillermo del Toro's Pootie Tang. I know, man. You got to let it go.
Is At the Mountains of Madness is a $250 million epic Guillermo del Toro movie that could have starred Tom Cruise about who's the author it's based on, but it's a classic horror story about people that go out into the Arctic, and they're in this expedition. They find this hidden craziness underneath the ice.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about that Everest thing.
And it's a classic horror tale, but he had this whole idea and storyboarded and everything, and they turned it down because he wanted it rated R.
Damn.
And they said we could fund you if it was PG-13, and he turned it down because that wouldn't be his vision.
You hear that, people?
And it's the biggest
Guillermo
what
del Toro
if
could
for
have
me.
done What We Do in the Shadows. Would have been great.
Imagine.
If anyone has seen that movie, you know why. That's funny.
Oh, it's funny.
No, I thought you were talking about that. They did it was a documentary, not a movie, about the people who try to climb Everest and die, and how Mount Everest is just a collection of dead bodies of people that failed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're just still up there.
Yes.
Because they're frozen.
Who's going up there to get them?
Exactly.
I'm not going.
You got to climb it.
Yeah, and the last guy, or at least the most recent one, the most recent
That's
story
more than a flight of stairs. You know?
Is there was a group that had trouble going up, and a Sherpa had gone up to try to rescue this group, and they just called them green shoes or green boots. Because he had these bright green boots. There was no other identification on him, and no one knew who he was. But he had gone up to try to rescue a group that was lost, and he couldn't make it to them. Like a guy who, like, this is what he did. So he was an experienced climber, and he still couldn't make it. A group that was on a different expedition and was having trouble themselves and was coming down and really in bad shape, desperate just to get off this mountain, came across him, and they're low on supplies, they're low on strength and energy, and they are making a decision whether or not we take this guy with us and risk not making it. Do we leave him? And they just left him. And the thing is, he was still alive, and he ended up dying. He will go up now, and they can find the remains of green shoes.
Green shoes.
I'm gonna look it up if it's boots or shoes. But I thought that's what you're talking about, and I would imagine Guillermo del Toro tackling something like that.
Yeah, At the Mountains of Madness. I mean, it's H.P. Lovecraft story, if I'm not mistaken. But it's one of those classic horror stories. And yeah, he had this whole pitch and the whole thing ready. You know what I mean? I think Del Toro's more known for the projects he hasn't done as much as the ones he has. So I always hear him attached to all these things that could have been great, these huge budgets and these huge stories.
Yeah,
and it's it hasn't worked out. This thing backed out, that thing backed out.
Del Toro's Fast and the Furious Redux.
But you know what I'm talking about. There's so many stories of that where is specifically him attached to these stories where they haven't really worked out. That's the one that really got me. But
well, I like when they have working on sci-fi and fantasy type things, comic stories specifically. And we're talking about Guillermo del Toro. His latest movie is called The Shape of Water, and it's the story that's about this woman who works in it's set in the 1960s, the period piece, and it's set in an old lab, but we never really know what they do there, because the woman that the story focuses on is on the cleaning crew. Simple woman, she has her life. She's also a mute. That's an important factor of the story. But she goes about her life day in, day out, and we meet her coworkers, we meet her neighbor, we find out her standard routine, and it has all the earmarks of a Guillermo del Toro movie. It's very stylized. I do like the hue they have over the movie. It was almost like Dark City.
Which is a movie I've been talking a lot about today for some reason.
Today specifically?
Yeah.
Okay, is it like an anniversary?
No, somebody got a bootleg copy of it and asked if I ever saw it. I was like, I have a
bootleg.
Yeah, and I said I didn't do it. And I said I got the DVD copy. Let me borrow it. I'll let you borrow it. But it's weird, today.
All right, well, this one had all the earmarks of a Guillermo del Toro movie, including when it got down to the practical effects and prosthetics on people, which I thought was great.
Which he has a hand in as well on all of them.
Yeah, no, he's very good at all those. Also, rampant masturbation and sex scenes, just there, and not that got her attention.
For the Louis C.K. movie? Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Waiting 2 weeks for that one.
But no, nothing's like sensationalized. It's just, this is how the story goes on. This woman gets up, she makes breakfast, she times stuff out, she helps her neighbor prepare a sandwich for him. She gets ready for work, she masturbates on the way out. And then, she's on the bus, and then she goes to work and has friends and stuff. And, it's like, everything is very matter of fact, but I liked it because it's a little more real that way.
Yeah.
This wasn't like,
this is what you actually do in your day. You don't just sit there and read the newspaper. You actually just jerk off and go to work.
Lights all these candles that came out of nowhere. It's a bathroom, yet she's fires the choice of lighting and stuff. And eventually, she gets a look of the latest lab secret project that she's not supposed to. When a new security guy takes the job of the previous guy who's gone missing for some reason, and he's very in your face. He's very imposing.
This is Michael Shannon too, right?
This is Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon in this movie doing a great job as one of the villains. He's the main villain, but no one's really like the supervillain type. It's just a bunch of bad people working together to accomplish a goal. But it's not like G.I. Joe versus Cobra.
Right.
This is just like that organization is shady.
This seemed to me a lot like Pan's Labyrinth in the way that's like a very innocent character that's just so like clearly like the face of innocence versus the face of like fascist, this overruling thing, you know what I mean? It's just obviously evil thing, but like with real consequences too, like not like comic booky consequences. This is like real dangerous, in your face, scary type of stuff.
Absolutely. And one thing that really struck out about this story is there's no point where at some point she becomes this big conquering heroine who's taking on the man, and she's taking on the role of an action star or like a big gung-ho leader. The entire time she's still the same character. She's still Liza, a simple maid who sees something wrong and tries to do something about it in whatever she can do, acknowledging that she's not going to go and take on all these guys herself, but she's going to use what little resources she has available. And it really worked that way because it kept things within due bounds, and you can it allows you to accept all the other things that happen in this movie that are kind of ridiculous.
Right.
Michael Shannon is a guy who goes home to like a classic 60s idealized house.
Very repressed, kind of.
Yeah, he's got his very obedient wife. His son, who's really gung ho about his job in America. He's getting a new Cadillac. And he goes, and then he goes to the lab, and it's just this evil SOB. He's walking around with a cattle prod, just intimidating the workers, intimidating the help. And then he goes into this lab where they close the door and you hear screams. And then he walks out like covered in blood. I'm like, this is crazy. This is nuts. And then we get to the real meat of the story where Sally Hawkins is the star of this. She plays Eliza Esposito. She's not deaf, she's just mute, so she communicates in sign language, and she hears all this weird stuff going on, and then an incident happens where they leave the door open, so she's got to find out what's going on. Is there danger here? Should she break out? And she ends up seeing what they're storing in this lab, and this isn't a spoiler because I'm doing the John Leguizamo thing now. this isn't a spoiler because it's all over the advertising. It's all in the trailer and the commercials. They're keeping this this like fish man creature. He's kind of like a creature from the Black Lagoon type.
Yeah,
type
that's exactly
of
what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. And this, when this image first appeared in the media, folks were saying, "Hey, is this that possible Abe Sapien prequel movie that everyone was clamoring for?" Abe Sapien being the fish guy from the Hellboy movies, the Hellboy series.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, or at least as far
But
as
it's
we know,
played by the
not.
same actor.
Well, then that would be Twisted.
It is, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Mm.
Probably, I'm hoping for body type. Because in this movie,
the guy that played
he ate
this
scrambled
guy.
eggs, he bit people, and he slung dick left and right. That's what was going on in The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water. If you ever wanted to get licensed for that,
I didn't see that coming.
Fantasy. Oh yeah, it was like, I love it because it's this very sweet story about Eliza. At the same time, this very like
she's
creepy story
masturbating before she goes to work. She finds some sexual enhanced creature,
like you do.
Like you
but
do.
It's a sweet story about her just living her life. She got a very like cordial relationship with her neighbor who's her good friend, and just a gay guy in the 60s. So the struggles he's going with, and being also an aged fella who's got a crush on the guy at the local soda shop. You know, it's very cute. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
And then you go to Michael Shannon, who's walking around and just like
covered in blood and like
people and making threats to employees that he doesn't know are reporting all his stuff back to the KGB because there's Russian spies everywhere. It's the 60s, man. They're all over the place.
They were.
It's wild because all this exists in this weird duality that works. It all flows together, which you wouldn't expect it to. You know, the only other time I've seen a movie work this well, covering all these things, is Buckaroo Banzai, Across the Fifth Dimension.
Great.
And I have to applaud.
that's a great endorsement right there.
I got to applaud Del Toro for taking this subject matter.
It's Big Booty!
Sorry. But taking subject matter that could be really out there, really whacked out and hard to believe, and just it seems like something that would take you out of the experience. Nah, man, I was just there, like enjoying the story. The acting was enthralling. Michael Shannon, I can't emphasize how much I love him as the bad guy.
Yes.
Because he's got that face where it's just like, even when he's trying to be nice.
It's the intensity, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, God, that guy is like, so good.
This is a delicious sandwich. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he does intense well. Like, he goes to a level that most actors can't. Yeah. He's really, 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 really good.
Like, you did a great job on my dry cleaning. Keep the change. You know,
but yeah, he can read simple lines, you know what I mean? That you were like, you draw some other meaning out of it where other people couldn't. You know what I mean?
What you're saying is he's evil. I know. He looks it.
Not just evil, like you know what I mean? He exudes whatever he wants to. That's what's great.
He didn't say that.
It's simple stuff.
Yeah, but it plays well. Like, this was great casting. Eliza, I've never seen her before. I'm pretty sure she's done other stuff though. Her performance was great. And then there's like 3 or 4 nude scenes that come out of nowhere. They're not like jarring. They're just like, okay, I expected this to kind of cut off. It's a sweet movie. They're not going to show you a boob. Oh, there's a boob. Okay, I guess it's an Archie movie. Oh, there's her ass. Solid. Yes. And her ass was solid. I just have to emphasize that as a cishet male. You know, in America today, these are things that people want to know. I wanted to know. I saw. I was very satisfied. And I'm sorry. I'm blanking on the name, but I got the list pulled up here real quick. Octavia Spencer, very, very, very highly regarded actress now because of her performances in movies last year, including Hidden Figures. Yeah, and
The Help.
The Help.
Was she in that?
Oh yeah, she was in The Help. I don't remember if she was the one that did the pie business.
If she won, she helped. Yeah.
The one she helped. No, just get a great performance in this. Played a great supporting actress role where it's like you believe her as the friend who's kind of put upon. You know, but she's there for her girl. Like, you know, Eliza comes late to work. She's the one that's punching her in. You know, she is down. So when you see her home life and she's kind of like repressed, but she's in a loving relationship, and then she doesn't really see. She's kind of blind to how toxic that is.
Yeah.
It's real. You know, it's like, this is a movie that has like fantasy elements, a lot of sci-fi elements, and elements of like an escape movie.
Well, I
like
that where he does
movie of confinement, contraption.
He does that well. I'll say that of Del Toro. He places those elements, those sci-fi, those fantasy things, but it's in real danger. There's real consequences. They're real evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's reflective of a society.
Down with a real fish, and it's
but it's a society that reflects real stuff that's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this mirror. You know what I mean?
But they still managed to show it in this like 1960s plastic fantastic show, display of everything's perfect in America because we're fighting communism every day. You know?
Right. But there's a lot of stuff underneath the surface.
Yeah, yeah. It also takes place in '62, so Martin Luther King was around there, gonna represent and liberate that lab if everything hadn't gone to hell because they're kidnapping fish people. I gotta give this a thumbs up. I enjoyed the crap out of this. I thought, it's gonna be a nice artsy movie. Maybe I'll have a good time. It doesn't look too terrible. Guillermo del Toro does good stuff. It'll be a nice artsy movie that I'll see once and forget about in 2 weeks. Nah, baby. This was just like, it starts off sweet, and then like a fish man sticks it in. So it was just like it was.
I can't believe there's much fish sex going on.
It is. It's on the poster, and you don't realize it because it looks like this.
But you think it's like a romance, not just like
exactly.
getting the boogie.
No. That picture is from like the first scene.
She has so much sex in this. They should have had her picture on the poster horizontal.
Dude, she does. And that's the thing. It's like they emphasize.
She's been picked up so many times. She should have handles.
They emphasize in the beginning like her regular routine is masturbation. So she's not, and it's because she's not getting any. And then once that fish thing like enters the picture, you can visibly see the thirst.
And you see just him like he's like she's a clinger.
Man,
take me away. Yeah, cattle prod me.
She is hungry. All right, so that was The Shape of Water. It's playing right now in theaters. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro, Michael Shannon, Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer, and I do want to call out they did try to have a a quick civil rights like side story, which is the only thing I think didn't work too well.
Yeah, you can't really do that quickly, can you?
No, you can't. And the thing is, the first scene you see it, it's like really powerful. Like, wow, that was messed up.
Like, yeah, black people have it tough too. And back to the fish guy.
Yeah, and I think like that this is the turn it's going to take, another element, and it never really comes back.
Oh, okay.
Which kind of bugged me because everything else about this I thought was almost perfect, was damn near perfect. And then that, like, it was an honorable like thing they tried to do, but the fact that it had like a quick hit and then a quick resolution, too quick for that heavy a subject to be introduced.
Fair enough.
So that's like the one thing. But besides that, I mean, I can't recommend this enough. Thumbs up all the way. It's called The Shape of Water, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Richard Jenkins is the guy who plays the neighbor. You might remember him as
he's in a lot of Step Brothers. He's the dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's in The Visitor.
And was he in Cabin in the Woods? He was in Cabin in the Woods, right?
He was, yes.
Yes, Cabin in the Woods is one of the main two
guys in the
control
office,
center guys. Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the show.